Approximately 3 years ago, we launched a high velocity 44 mag bullet ammunition specifically for the single shot rifles. And it's been perceived well, people like it, but we've been continuously asked, can you come up with something for the revolvers and the lever guns? Because a lot of people have those two rifles in addition to the single shots. So one of the projects that we've been actively working on for the last couple years is a new bullet, completely new design, specifically for the 44 mag revolvers and lever guns that leverages our rapid expansion type technology in our bullets, and they all copper designs. We think we have something that people are going to really like. It's a 160 grain bullet. Out of that 9.5 inch Ruger Super Black or Red Hawk is going 1,830 feet per second. Out of the lever gun, we're hitting over 2,100 feet per second. Out of the single shot, we're hitting over 2,200 feet per second. So what that really means is you've got a bullet now that takes advantage of a rapidly expanding bullet that won't come apart when it goes through the animal, and it doesn't matter if it's 20 yards or 150 yards, you're going to get excellent expansion. And that's the whole goal, pretense behind what we're trying to do here, is if you look at a conventional cup and core type bullet, they will typically basically just punch a hole through. There's very little expansion. Maybe if you get expansion really close, the bullet just flattens and doesn't even penetrate sometimes, or it doesn't go all the way through. What we've tried to do is take that idea, the idea that we developed in the 450 and the 350 ammunition, the 44 mag long range ammo, and apply it to this handgun round. And we think we have a winner that's really going to make a difference in the industry. So an OEM bullet, 225 grain bullet as an example, is going to be roughly 1,350 feet per second, maybe a little faster than that depending on barrel length. We're trying to be at least 300 to 400 feet per second faster. We've dramatically reduced the weight, but we don't believe that's going to be an issue based on the penetration tests we've done on ballistic gel at 100 yards. These bullets completely penetrated through, on an 85 yard test, completely penetrated through an 85 ballistic gel, normal ballistic gel, 85 yards. Your lead cup and core bullets, either they didn't expand or they basically pancaked, is what we were seeing. The conventional cup and core bullets, I mean, the idea is, and the reason that I believe people have wanted to use the heavier bullets is to ensure that the bullet will have the integrity to basically pass through the animal. And with a 44 mag, because it is such a short, stubby bullet, that is one of the driving reasons behind why you need that 240 grain bullet. Being that we're all copper, it doesn't matter. You can drive it as fast as you want to drive it, and it will still expand and look exactly like these bullets that we have here on the table. So the new 44 mag 162 grain bullet, we did a lot of shooting last fall with it. Took a number of whitetails, around a half dozen whitetails we shot. What we found is the bullet worked excellent in all the different platforms that we wanted it to work in. We were shooting it through revolvers, we were shooting it through semi-autos, we were shooting through lever guns, and it met all the criteria we were looking for. One of the things we continued to work on was to try and make the bullet design simpler and more robust. And what we found is we developed a technology that allows us to drop these complete off the lathe and not require a tip. We can actually, when you look at the bullet, it has a rounded portion to the very end, and that's the technology that we've included into our machines to be able to accomplish that. The development process of these pistol rounds is a lot more challenging than what we typically would see with our rifle rounds because you don't have the energy. The ranges are closer, which is good. 150 yards and in is what we're designing them for. But what we want to make sure, and this is true with all of our ammo, is if somebody shoots an animal at 10 feet or they shoot them at the limit, which in this case is 150 yards, we want to see the expansion so that we can make a clean, consistent kill each time. I shot a doe at the end of December last year at 160 yards with one of these bullets out of a little 7744 Ruger. The bullet completely punched through the back on the deer and dropped her right in her tracks. amazing performance from a pistol round. I would have not expected that. I know we've had a lot of customers, or a handful of customers, asking about wanting a heavier bullet. And I think that is an old mindset. That what we've found through all the testing that we've done is a faster bullet, especially in the copper, will work much better than, or work as good or better than the lead cup and core bullets. You got to consider the lead cup and core bullet is made for a very narrow impact range. Sometimes they'll open, sometimes they won't. If they're up close, sometimes they'll actually shed. And part of the reason for going to that heavy bullet is because they are going to shed that lead, and they are going to come apart on close impacts. So what we've done is we've combined everything in a monolithic bullet that expands consistently over that 150-yard range that we want to hunt with. So this bullet design is based on a monolithic bullet that will expand from the muzzle to 150 yards. You're going to get good expansion, good penetration. This last fall and this year, actually, we've seen some extreme cases where this was even capable of running through an 1,800+ pound bull eland, which I would have never dreamed that bullet would do that, but we proved it, and I'm glad that we were able to do that. There's a mentality that exists within the hunting community that the handgun bullets need to be heavy, and I think that comes from probably the lead cup and core bullets. Copper is a completely different animal, if you will. Heavy impacts, it's not going to come apart. Even in a lung type hit at 100 yards, 150 yards, you're going to get 5/8 of an inch expansion, and it may or may not punch out the other side, but you're going to get good expansion through the vitals and put that animal down real quick. The other beauty of the monolithic bullet is you don't have to worry about the lead. We've tested a number of lead cup and core bullets, especially on close-in impacts, 50 yards and in, or even 100 yards and in on some of the faster bullets. When you look at the wound channel through the ballistics gel, you can see all kinds of lead particles. That's going into your meat, something that I don't want to feed my family, and we eat all the deer that we shoot. The other nice thing about these monolithic bullets is we're getting 2,100 feet per second out of a short carbine type barrel like this. This gun will run about 2130 average speed on I think it's a 16-inch barrel. The 162 grain bullet versus a 240 grain bullet, you're going to get about 20 to 30% less recoil. So kids that are shooting this, or people that don't like heavy recoil guns, it's not only giving them a better product that's going to perform good on game, but it's also going to not beat them up so bad when they pull that trigger and cause them to want to flinch and potentially miss because of that as well. This year it's been in South Africa. It was used on some really big game over there, and it worked exceptional in both cases. So I would have to say anybody that doesn't think a 160 grain bullet is sufficient, they need to rethink that thought process.